Shadrach Miti, KTN News.
Now tonight, justice has been served to the victims and survivors of the 2013 Westgate Mall terror attack. The court has found 2 men guilty of helping Islamist militants attack the upmarket shopping mall 7 years ago and freed a 3rd man declared not guilty for all counts. Now, the September attack killed 67 people, with the al-Shabaab claiming responsibility. The state said that the 4 militants who carried out the attack were found dead in the rubble. Now, Crimes and Investigations reporter Brian Obuya with the details.
Abdulkadir Hared Ahmed, according to investigators, was working as a madrasa teacher.
In the 4-hour-long judgment, the court found the 2 men guilty of helping al-Shabaab fighters launch a 2013 assault on the premier Westgate shopping mall, where gunmen massacred at least 67 people and maimed some 150 others.
So for the charge of conspiracy and giving support, I'm satisfied that the prosecution has proved these charges against the 1st and the 4th accused persons. I find them guilty and I convict them accordingly.
The court further ruled that the prosecution had been unable to prove charges of committing terrorism acts against all the charged persons. A 3rd accused person, Liban Abdullahi Omar, who is also a brother to one of identified attackers, was unconditionally acquitted. The court found that talking to his brother was not evidence that Liban was conspiring to commit a crime. The trial court was shown blow by blow how communication data between the attackers, the suspects, and the accused started and ended. The investigators showed the trial court the movements of the attackers and the accused on the day of the attack. Mohammed Abdi is said to have talked to one of the attackers for some 109 seconds during the attack. Prosecutors have welcomed the judgment.
Having obtained that conviction, it's a vindication of the case we presented to the court, and also justice for the victims and the country at large. There's 1 accused person who was acquitted, that's the 2nd accused, and I'll study the judgment together with my boss, the DPP, and decide whether or not we might need to prefer an appeal against that one.
The 2 will be sentenced on October 22nd this year. The judgment was coming 7 years after gunmen from Somalia-based armed group al-Shabaab stormed Westgate, took over control of the mall, and carried out the attack. When the guns went silent 4 days later, bringing the 80-hour siege to an end, 62 civilians and 5 security officials had been murdered. Initially, the government said there had been 10 attackers, but then revised the figure down to 4, saying that all assailants had been killed. But to date, forensic tests on their remains have never been released. Mohammed Ahmed Abdi and Hussein Hassan Mustafa have been found guilty of aiding the 2013 Westgate attack. But even with their convictions, for the families of the victims and the survivors, the memories of the 2013 bloodbath and 80-hour siege will never go away. Since 2011, al-Shabaab has targeted Kenya for sending troops to Somalia. The trial is the only prosecution the country has mounted over the attack carried out by al-Shabaab fighters in 2013. Brian Obuya, KTN News.
Now, barely hours after that